philosophy was to give a lot of time for Singaporeans to assess our candidates, and we put out candidates early and over a period of time so that the public can examine them as much as possible.
Doctor, you mentioned earlier the number of potential office holders will be the largest so far for the past how many years, and how many can we expect?
Well, I haven't been taking account, but my sense is that there will be, of the 24 candidates that we put out, a good number of potential office holders.
In 2001, it was the Super 7, including yourself, 7, so are you expecting more than 7 this time around?
I think there will be more than 7.
And these will be made office holders immediately? Or?
That's for Prime Minister to decide, but our assessment is that our central preoccupation, as I said, for Prime Minister and the planning team, the Secretary General for PAP, and was how do we ensure that we bring in enough top caliber people to take over government in 22 and 20 beyond.
Among the 24, 5 are currently unemployed, if you put it that way. They have quit their jobs. Would these 5 be the ones who will be made office holders immediately?
Well, again, that's something that's prerogative for Prime Minister to answer. But as I said, if we have put out 24 candidates, our main objective was to let Singaporeans examine them. And if Singaporeans trust the PAP and find them that they are suitable, to bring them in so that we can continue the 4th generation leadership, the cabinet and government. Now, if Singaporeans find them acceptable and vote them in, then the 3rd generation leadership can rest a little easier that we have them in place.
Regarding the manifesto, so how soon can we expect, and any hints? Will it be this weekend?
It will be soon.
So will there be any session next week?
We haven't planned any sessions, but I want to be frank. I mean, we have always people that we're assessing, and even as we present candidates, there are people stepping forward to offer themselves, and fairly good credentials. Some who are very well lettered, who are achieved a lot, who are overseas and are willing to come back. So if we do find candidates that we feel can lead us forward, I think it's sensible for us to put them out. But as of now, we don't have any sessions planned.
Doctor, from the introduction and the Q&A sessions, we have seen you have probably quite enjoyed some of what they have spoken. So what's your impression of what MG Chan has spoken so far?
I think not only Major General Chan Chun Sing. As I said, we've seen them over a couple of years. So all the candidates that we've introduced would have seen the majority of CEC, Central Executive Committee, comprising mainly cabinet ministers and senior party leaders, at least 5 to 6 times on separate occasions. Very deep drilling and grilling to understand the motivations, and to also to assess that under pressure, can this person deliver? Will he run and buckle? Because, there's a lot to lose if he can't get it right. And so this is a generation, the 3rd generation leadership, handing over our destiny. And we wanted to make sure that these were men and women of substance. So I would say of the 24 candidates, they have handled themselves well. They have not overstretched themselves, not overpromised. They will have to find their own way and convince Singaporeans of their own worth. It's a different generation that they will have to lead and be able to connect with. But I would say that we are pleased and more assured that at least we have capable leaders who are in place.
Doctor, do you feel the opposition is still gerrymandering with their candidates?
I think the opposition is also trying to figure out what's the best position for them. I mean, despite the comments of saying that the NCMP is less than ideal, obviously the fact that we've increased to 9 has livened the whole situation, and I think that's very positive. We did these changes to increase contestability, And I think we will get it. And I think it's good for our politics. I leave to the opposition to decide how they want to I won't use the word gerrymander, they would position themselves so that they can become NCMPs. And I think that will be a positive feature for the political situation, political scene moving forward. But if I can be allowed to make just one gentle suggestion, I think opposition shouldn't take too much of their time introducing their candidates so that Singaporeans can ask questions and get to know the candidates. I think they should hurry up a little bit. There may not be much more time.
You have shared with us the merits of the candidates. How about some weaknesses that you've seen and areas that they themselves should improve on?
I think for our younger candidates, there was an instructive lesson. What the social media and the forces of social media, how it can be used for and against you. They'll have to learn with that media. And also, more importantly, as I said, they'll have to learn how to shape that media. It can be such a constructive force, but social media can be so destructive. It can be ugly, it can be vitriolic, it can be unsubstantiated. And it's one of the greatest tools that we can think of, but I think they'll have to shape it and harness it. So that's a challenge for the new generation. They understand it better.
You said just now that there won't be so much more time before, and that's why the opposition should hurry up a little. Could you offer some hints as to...
Well, we are third week from the first introduction of our candidates. It's been unusually long compared to previous elections. Surely people don't believe that this will continue on and on. Yes. So I think if you're going to introduce candidates to the public, you should hurry it up so that we can see what, ask them questions or ask them about what they feel. We tried to be very candid and systematic about this, to even the point where people say that this is a little bit predictable, but we thought we wanted to, between a batch of each three, to give enough time for people to understand and ask questions of our candidates and to get to know them. And I think that has been achieved because we've allowed space for people to digest every bit of information that's coming out about our candidates. But this can't go on forever, so finally the writ will be issued and there will be a nomination day and polling day will come. So if you're going to introduce your candidates, now is about the time.
Will there be any more parliamentary sitting?
I think the last statement that the Leader of the House says it will be adjourned till the date to be fixed.
How difficult is it to find, with this batch of candidates, how difficult it is to suss out their convictions? Because some people say that the last conviction politician was MM. How difficult was it to actually suss out this aspect?
That comment is a little bit unfair about conviction politicians. It takes a lot to come out. The common hesitation for most people was the loss of privacy and the scrutiny, as indeed we showed how when somebody comes up and puts themselves as a candidate, you get furore and you can actually get enormous public scrutiny and in every aspect of your life, and that you have to defend yourself, not only you but your family members. And I think that Singaporeans will have to ask themselves, well, if this is the case, are you making it harder for not only for PAP, but for all sorts of candidates to want to put themselves up? But they have conviction because it meant changing their lives, changing their careers. Many of them are in very comfortable positions, and they could continue to pinnacle positions where they are. But it meant a change in their, not only for them, and many of them had to have serious and long talks with their spouses, their families, because they knew that it would be a loss in terms of time with their children and with their spouses. And I made it a point to say to every candidate, if you cannot get the support of your spouse and family, I'm not sure I want you as a candidate, because this is a long haul. And I would tell you that some indeed, while they themselves were keen, we turned them down because we weren't sure that they had the family support behind them.